Hello fellow travelers and welcome back to Our Big's Adventure. My name is Cynthia and this morning we are going to be meal prepping for the week. So let's grab a cup of something hot and get to work. All right, let's get down to it. It's about 10 after 8 and I have everything laid out for my meals this week. For Soup Sunday, we're gonna do a turkey and noodle soup, kind of a classic combo. I bought this can of mixed vegetables for another video, so I wanna use that up. Got an onion, some garlic. This is turkey bone broth with pieces that I canned in January of 2020. And these are organic brown rice noodles from Aldi. Next up, we're gonna have this kielbasa and cabbage meal. Literally, that's just gonna be it. Kielbasa and cabbage. So that'll be a nice, easy meal prep for me. Next meal we're gonna have on Tuesday is this barbecue pork with sweet potatoes, and I have coleslaw down for the side, but I don't know if that's gonna happen or not. We may end up having greens or something, I don't know. I don't know what'll happen. But this wild hog I canned in February of 2020, and I will just pour the juices off of that, mix it with barbecue sauce, and I'm done. After that is going to be, I'm gonna have these salmon patties with some cauliflower, and Mr. Biggs is gonna have a chicken and broccoli Alfredo gluten-free lasagna. These are gluten-free lasagna noodles that I found at Walmart, and this is one of his favorite meals, so that's what he's gonna have that night. Then on Thursday night, we are gonna have beef stew. So I've got some beautiful chunked up beef that we got from our friend's cow. We have onion, garlic, carrots, and potatoes. Let's get going. I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees. You can see my salmon and sweet potatoes are already in. Next up, we're gonna make Mr. Big's chicken lasagna. I have a can of Alfredo sauce and also some frozen broccoli that I have thawed. I'm just gonna put that in a bowl and mix them up. Super easy recipe. I make this for him often because he really enjoys it. It's not something that I'm able to eat, but he really does like it. So I am a big believer in scraping every last little bit out of a jar or a bowl, as you can probably tell. Just gonna put in a little bit of the broccoli and chicken mixture in the bottom. Layer my lasagna noodles over the top. These are the oven ready kind. They are gluten-free. Just doing a little Tetris, lasagna noodle Tetris there. I'm gonna throw in the rest of my mix. And I'm sorry that I don't use regular recipes because I make my same recipes over and over and over again. But this one's pretty self-explanatory, very easy. There's not a lot to most of the dishes that I make. They're just super yummy and super simple. So just gonna put the rest over the top and a little bit of cheese. Next up, I'm gonna do my beef stew. I've got carrots and potatoes, chopping those up and trying to get them all small enough to where they fit on a spoon or a fork. That's one of the first rules of soups and stews, is make sure that all your pieces fit on the spoon. I learned that on Top Chef on Bravo. Chopping up a little bit of onion, and I just gave it like a super rough chop. I have some tomato paste. I forgot to list that in my original set of ingredients. I'm just going to put in most of the can and give it a good stir. Then I've got some canned mushrooms. Mr. Biggs asked for canned mushrooms in his omelet that morning, so I had about a half a can left. And you saw a beef bouillon cube. I think I ended up putting about 5 beef bouillon cubes in there. Give it a good stir. I'm going to take care of my meat next. I have salt and pepper. Actually, that's garlic salt. A couple of nice big heaping tablespoons of gluten-free flour. If you are totally paleo, you can use arrowroot powder to do your meat, and it will be 100% paleo if you forgive the white potatoes, which I do all the time. So I'm just gonna saute my meat in my cast iron skillet. There's a little bit of olive oil in there. Just getting it nice and brown, and make sure that you get all the crispy stuff off of the bottom because that is where all of your flavor is. There's my crock pot insert, and I'm gonna put my beef in there, my potatoes, carrots. I like to put some beef in the middle and then put the rest on the top. And then when I'm ready to serve it, I'll give it a really good stir. Make sure you get all those crispy pan drippings in there because those are where all the flavor is at. And put it on low, and I'm done. All right, so let's put our soup together. This is going to be a super frugal, super easy soup. I'm not gonna spend a lot of money or time on this bad boy. This is turkey that I pressure canned in January of 2020. I bought 3 turkeys last year for 39 cents a pound. I went to several grocery stores and got the best deal. You know, you had to spend $25, which I did with coupons, and then you got your turkey for 39 cents. So this bad boy has been pressure canned. This is bone broth, and I'm sure I'll be doing that again this year. I'll do some videos about that. So I'm gonna say that this whole jar was way under $1. That's what I'm gonna say, because there's not really a whole pound of meat in here. This can of mixed vegetables I paid about $1.69 for at my local Walmart. I used it in a video and I'd like to get it used up, so that's what I'm gonna do for the soup. This onion is approximately 30 cents. I have a few cloves of garlic here, so I'm gonna say that that's maybe roughly 20 cents worth of garlic. So let's make our soup super easy. I'm gonna start by rough chopping this onion and also the garlic. Put it in my little pan here, opening up the can of mixed vegetables, pouring it in, liquid and all. Next, I have my beautiful turkey bone broth. I'm gonna put that in with all of the yummy meat from my turkey last year. This looks good to me. I'm not going to salt and pepper this quite yet because I want it to simmer for a little while. I know that those mixed vegetables are probably gonna be quite salty, and there was some salt and pepper in with my bone broth as well. So let me get this on the stove and get it to start simmering. Here I am gonna do some dishes. I don't mind hand washing dishes, and for those of you who are just joining, I have a dishwasher, but I never use it because I just don't like dishwashers. I would rather just hand wash and hand dry the few dishes that I make while I'm meal prepping. Here we go. I've got my sausage in the cast iron skillet, and I'm going to give that quite a little browning to make some crispy edges to serve with the cabbage. I love my cast iron skillets. We have the chicken lasagna out of the oven, and I'm going to put that in the meal prep containers for Mr. Big's lunch. It looks all nice and golden brown. He really enjoys this meal quite a bit. I used to make this also when my kids were home, and they really, really liked it. So it's a nostalgic recipe for us. When I made it for the kids, I used to use egg noodles instead of lasagna noodles. So there's his lunches all prepped up. This is my salmon meal. I only had 2 pieces of salmon in the freezer when I went to do my meal prep, so those are it. And the night that I go to eat my fish meal, I will just make 2 pieces of fresh salmon after I go to the store. This is the kielbasa and cabbage meal. This is a meal that we really enjoy the night that we serve it. I'm going to put a little bit of butter on Mr. Big's along with maybe some extra salt and some vinegar. I absolutely adore cabbage with butter and vinegar and salt. It's so yummy. And there we are, putting our lids on. Mr. Big's gets the blue lids and the red lids are mine. Just wanted to check in really quickly. It's 10 o'clock right on the dot. I have the fish meal put away. I have the chicken broccoli Alfredo meal put away. The beef stew is in the crock pot right over there, all bubbling away, and that'll be ready tonight. And then I have the sausage and cabbage meal done. I may have to add something to that for Mr. Biggs. That'll be enough for me to eat, but not super sure about him. And I didn't have any coleslaw, any cabbage left over. I thought that cabbage was a little bigger, I guess, than what it actually was. So I'll probably maybe pick up a bag of coleslaw at the store this week on my way to work so that I can have coleslaw with this meal. Or worst comes to worst, I'll just open up a can of green beans and we'll have that. The soup is done. I have a sink full of dishes to do really quick. And then I think I'll be done. I think I'll be done by 10:30, 11, which is really, really good. Mr. Biggs is going to be having this double chocolate zucchini loaf for his breakfast. It is gluten-free, and this was in the freezer, so this is a nice, easy cheat for me. I don't have to make him anything, and he'll probably have that with Spam for breakfast all week. Last meal of the day to be put up. Here's the barbecue pork, and I've got my sweet potatoes. I did end up getting coleslaw, which is so yummy. It was such a nice addition to this meal because the vinegar in the coleslaw helped cut through the sweetness and the richness of that wild hog. Super delicious meal, and we both were so full and satisfied. Checking in on our soup, I thought it looked a little bland, so this is some dehydrated kale, and I'm just going to add that to the soup for a little bit of color and to also bump up the iron and the nutrients in it. A little more kale because why not? Here's our selection of grab-and-go fruits for the week. We picked grapes and oranges. There's a final shot of our delicious soup. The kale made all the difference in keeping it looking healthy. There's a shot of my refrigerator after the meals were all prepped. Okay, it's 11:15 and I am done with my meal prep. Got everything all tidied up. There's my beef stew in the crock pot. It's gonna be ready probably about 4:30 this afternoon. I'm actually gonna turn it down to low. There we go. And then fridge all nice and shiny. There's that side of the countertop. In that container is some cookies that I am going to take to a meeting later that I have to go to. Got our table all nice and pretty. There's my mixer, and there's the essential oil caddy that I have, and I've got purification and grapefruit going, which is one of my faves. Sink. You know I'm gonna have to try a piece of that double chocolate zucchini bread, right? And look what came in the mail that I have not opened yet. Woohoo! I can't wait to get into that. Thanks for watching, everybody, and remember, enjoy the journey. One clove that I had. And I have a few cloves of garlic here, and these were split between my cookie. Quickly, it is now 10 o'clock, right on the dot, and oh goodness, I have a looking at my hiney in the fridge.